want to look at the bank reconciliation. So this is my bank statement. I'm going to take my ending balance. I'm going to come in here and put in bank reconcile, which is also under GL, banking, bank functions, bank reconcile. Put in my property ID and the date that the statement closes. This is important because if we need to rerun a report out of Yardi, we need to know this date. And if you use a date other than the statement closing date, we may not know what that date is. But if you ever try and run your bank history report, it will ask for a date. If you use a different date, it's going to use the data from that date and your bank won't look like it reconciles. Or can look like it doesn't reconcile. Then we're going to hit submit. Okay, I've already mostly reconciled this just to make this go faster, but you can see I have a difference of $25,000. What are some reasons I could have a difference? Well, if something came in after the cash cutoff or I issued a check after the cash cutoff, that could create a difference. In this case, because it's negative, it's most likely a deposit. So I'm going to go to Analytics, Transaction Registers. This is my favorite way to look up issues like this. I'm going to select receipt or deposit register, whichever one you like. They both will give you the same kind of information. If you have multiple banks, the deposit register is a little bit better because it's a little bit easier to restrict it to just the bank. The information you want to put here is basically from the cash cutoff forward. The reason for that is ideally it would be the day after the cash cutoff, but because of how Yardi works, because tenants can come in at, midnight, or I guess not exactly 11 o'clock at night, and process a payment, and they get credit on that day, they may process a payment on the 15th. So it will be dated the 15th for the actual transaction, but the deposit doesn't get processed till the next day. So the deposit will be dated the 16th. And so that's why it's created a reconciling item. So you do have to be careful with dates. So typically I'll start with the day after my cash cutoff. And if it doesn't pull up anything, I'll go back to a day or two before the cash cutoff, depending on where it falls in the week. But if we hit display, did I update this? Make sure I was looking at the right property. No, I was not. Okay. So as you can see, 24,268.50. Oh, a little bit off. Okay. So we're going to put in an adjustment for 24,268.50. We're going to click adjust. And you need to date this before your cash cutoff or on your cash cutoff. If you date it the date it occurs, it won't appear in your bank rec and won't reconcile your bank for you. Obviously, the more information you enter, the better, because then you'll know what it is when you're looking at your reconciliation. So now I'm off by this amount. And that is this check. So shouldn't have, yeah, that's my fault. I was just trying to make an example. So what we're going to do is we're going to void this check. This was a check that we needed to void. So we're going to go to void checks, which is payable payments, void checks, put in the ID, and then we're going to select the void date. Again, if you void this after your cash cutoff, it's going to create a reconciling item, another reconciling item. So make sure, if it doesn't matter, that you void it before your cash cutoff. The next thing to know is the reverse invoices. Yardi assumes that you want to leave the invoice open. So if you want to also reverse the invoice, you need to say yes. And it'll ask the same questions here. Mostly this controls where it appears on your GL when reviewing, but generally that's what you want. So you're going to hit select and post. And I have voided the check. I'm going to come in here and go to bank reconcile. And now I reconcile. It's actually not what I wanted. What I wanted, I must have messed something up when I was staging this. What I wanted was to show that voiding a check from conversion is going to leave you with a reconciling item because it was hit cash to cash. It didn't hit the expense. So I must have posted something wrong in this check. When you post it normally, if you reverse a check from conversion, it's not going to reverse the cash or expense, so it would still be a reconciling item for you. It's not a problem. You just credit the expense and debit the cash and you'll be fine. Hopefully there are very few of those left, but there may be a few, or like I say, you may have voided one of those and not realized why it was causing you to be out of balance. You just knew it was that voided check, and that's why. So you just need to book a journal